Welcome to the Comeback Blueprint podcast, hosted by Michael Sawan. This is the show about rebuilding after setbacks, burnouts, and life-changing moments. Real stories, real struggles, real comebacks. If you're in a season of change, you're in the right place. Welcome to another episode of the Comeback Blueprint podcast. Today's guest is Kat Evans, a fitness coach, athlete, and content creator who's built a strong online presence through discipline, honesty, and self-development. But one thing that stood out to me preparing for this conversation was her mindset around growth. The idea that achievement alone means nothing if you stop evolving afterwards. In this episode, we unpack confidence, pressure, identity, burnout, discipline, and the constant pursuit of becoming better. So here's my conversation with Kat Evans. Kat, welcome to the Comeback Blueprint podcast.
Hello, everybody.
All the way from Western Sydney, I've just come to understand.
All the way from Western Sydney.
Yeah. So if it's cold here, it's like 4 degrees colder out.
It definitely is, especially post-comp, low body fat. I'm freezing out here, man.
Yeah. And the singlet obviously shows clearly.
Yes, yeah. I just finished the workout, so, you know.
Yeah. You sell the West very well.
Oh, thanks.
For people discovering you for the first time, I've had so much fun in this process. And as I said, sometimes I feel like I'm talking to a little celebrity, so I love this. Let's talk about Kat Evans beyond fitness and social media. Let's talk about your day-to-day first. Who are you?
Who am I? Well, I'm a mum of 4. So I am a mum first, above all things. My kids are the center of my universe. I became a mum when I was 18. So I spent my entire
Lovely.
life raising kids. Which is interesting to say out loud, but they're great.
You never said it out loud?
No, I mean, I've never really thought of it like that. Just as that flew out of my mouth, I was like, wow, I really, I went all in there. So
Okay.
the gap between my youngest and my eldest child is the same age gap between myself and my eldest child. So I was 18 when I had him. He was
Yeah.
18 when I had Arlo. Mind blowing.
So how old's your oldest?
21. He'll be 21 in
Wow.
July. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So guys, it's not making sense to me at all. I'm not, that's it. I'm going to start competing. I'm finished. Like I've got no excuse now. If you can look like, no, forget it. It's all over. You guys have sold this to me. I'm in the wrong line of business. Podcasting is not my thing. But finding wonderful people you're clearly one of them. So let's talk about you growing up.
Yes.
You've got kids that have grown up now and they've got their own stories, of course, but you were a kid once, still are. What drove you from the day-to-day that led you to develop over time into what you're doing now?
I'm the first to say I had an incredibly fortunate upbringing. I was raised by an incredibly strong, independent single mum who ran her own business, worked from home, and did everything that she could to give me the most in life. And
What did she do? What was her business?
funny, she's a psychic, clairvoyant, and a clinical hypnotherapist. She built
Yeah.
very successful businesses off those things. So, that's kind of where the mindset portion of my business adventures comes into play. It's something I was fortunate enough to be exposed to very early on in my working life. I actually worked with her. We had an RTO where we taught people clinical hypnotherapy and NLP, which is the language of sales and mindset work.
Neuro-linguistic programming, I believe,
That's
NLP.
correct.
Yeah.
That has made me very very skilled NLP practitioner for the last 10 years or so. So I've I've very much enjoyed following in her footsteps, and it's done me a lot of good, as you can see.
As I can see. But the mathematics is blowing my mind. Obviously, with how old you are, and we won't say that online unless you want to. But then looking back at your mum and what she was doing, we're going back a fair bit now. So for her line of work at that time to be earning such a decent coin, she must have been up there, like with the best of them, because well, it's not as common as it is now. So
No, she's certainly was a pioneer in the mind wellness space for sure. She was actually Madonna's clairvoyant when Madonna came out here to
gee
Australia.
whiz.
That's another story for another podcast, I think. A
I think
very
so. Just I'm going to put in the footnotes. Google Madonna's. What did you call it? The clairvoyant.
and her clairvoyant, yeah, I think it was like
Yeah.
1994 or something. Don't,
Okay. All
but
right. That's
I
another
remember
podcast. Yeah.
I remember her getting the call. We were eating dinner. We were having spaghetti, very specific memories. And I remember my mum was expecting the call from Madonna's manager, and my stepdad picked up the phone.
What did she
And
know?
she was like, she knew the call was coming. And my stepdad picked up the phone and was like, oh, some prankster calling themselves Madonna. My mum literally like spat her dinner out, got on the phone and was like, hello. And she got flown to Adelaide, did a reading for her, the whole thing. But yeah, she's very well respected in that space. She
Yeah.
wrote articles in the New Idea, Woman's Weekly. She was on the Bert Newton show. So
Can we get her name? Can we get her
uh,
name?
Rhonda Evans, or she was Rhonda Stewart, I believe.
Yeah. Go figure. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That name does ring
So
a bell. Yeah.
yeah, so this business pioneer, this woman, this beautiful embodiment of strength and all of these things. My mum is all of that. She taught me a huge amount about being strong and about being a female in the working world, just in the world in general. So I'm very, very grateful for her.
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
was just
And
me and
Orange.
her for like the longest time. So, it's me and her against the world always. I feel like
Yeah.
that's my
So
most
you're an only child? You're an only child?
I am her only baby, yes. Yeah.
Because you mentioned you had a stepdad, so I'd imagine there's some
Yeah,
mixes
yeah.
in there.
My mum, I think her greatest joy in life is me having 4 kids. She was not able to do that. I was an IVF baby, so I was the first IVF baby born at Royal Women's Hospital in 1987. You
Yeah.
can do it yourself.
Yeah.
And she deeply
You know,
struggled.
this podcast is selling itself, guys.
It's
I'm doing
good.
nothing
I've
here.
got all
Yeah.
the
I've
tea.
asked
Let's
one question, but
know
she's got
all
all the
about
things. Go for it. We haven't even got to Cat yet. Let's go.
No, I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you from conception to now.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
From conception to creation. Let's do it. Tell it. Tell me.
That's it. But yeah, she struggled a lot with infertility. It's actually like, it's nice that I've been able to give her these beautiful grandbabies. She's a great grandma, and yeah, she's given me all of these wonderful skills that I've now turned into a career that I'm so happy to have. Versus the career that I used to have that I was so unhappy to have that I didn't know till I did the work. And that's part of what I teach people to do, step out of discomfort or being over comfortable into being comfortable with discomfort. Um,
Yeah.
and
Get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's
yeah,
the
that's
same.
it. I
Yeah.
love the
Absolutely.
yeah.
So there was a gap there. There's a bit of a patch, as you said, like that obviously over time you were driven to do what you do now. What were you doing before that you hated so much or didn't like, we'll say?
I was a real estate professional for a really long time. And look,
Okay.
I loved real estate sales. The part that I loved that I joined myself to that became my whole identity was the helping people part. It's not lost on me the privilege of being a stranger walking into someone's home, selling an asset that was their treasured family possession, like it's something that I took very seriously. But when it became more about money than it was about that end of the business is when I made the decision for my soul. It was something I needed to step away from. So,
Yeah.
um, and you know what? If you'd have said to me 5 years ago, you're going to be a PT and you're going to be a fitness coach and you're going to change your life and lose all this weight and compete on a national stage in a bikini, I would have went, no, that's not
And
happening.
be on my podcast because it seems like everyone that
What
competes
a
on a national stage in a
podcast.
bikini
Like,
ends
who,
up on my
who saw
podcast.
this
So,
coming? Yes. So,
what got you into real estate? Why real
yeah.
estate to begin with?
Why real estate? I guess my family business had given me a pretty unique sales skill set, and that was transferable to real estate. I bought my first house with my mum, um, I don't know, like 12 years ago now. a bit more than 12
Yeah,
years ago.
when you could actually buy a house back then. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
like
those
when
good
you
old
can
days.
actually afford it, and,
Yeah.
I the experience I really loved, and ironically, the man that sold us that house is someone I went on to work with for a huge chunk of my real estate career,
Oh,
so,
cool.
yeah, he was like, I thought he was so fascinating. I loved the relationship building part, the rapport building side of things. And I was given a really good opportunity to work in a boutique real estate agency at
Mm,
first before I moved into big brand. That gave me a lot of really good skills in terms of relationship building.
yeah,
Um, and it was that kind of coupled with my NLP skill set that just sort of blossomed into me finding myself, not as a mum or Rhonda's daughter, but, like, as me. So
yeah.
I, uh, I did love it. I did love it until I didn't.
I reckon if you went back now with that refinement as a mum who's settled and happy and then got that NLP, that perfection around NLP, you'd probably be doing this blind real estate. You'd be selling people's dreams all day long. I know you're not going to go back, but I'd be interested to see what you'd look like if you did it, if you went back and did it for a stint.
Smash it,
Um,
but I'd have to
you'd
do it.
smash it.
I'd
Yeah.
smash it. But you know what? It's one of those careers that looks shiny and bright, sweet on the
Mm.
outside, but
Hey, you
on
got to
the
work Saturdays though. I'm not a fan of that, but that's just me personally.
well, think Saturday's part, but I think for me, the culture of that
Yes.
industry and when you peel behind the curtain about what it actually takes to be a high performing real estate agent, it's a soulless adventure at times. The house always wins. Unless you own an agency, you're really not making big bank. Um, you drive a nice lease car, but that's about it. Like, let's be real. Um, but yeah, if I did go back to it, I think I know I would do very well, but I could never glue the passion that I
Mm.
have what I do now to real estate the same way. I don't know why. It just the glue didn't stick.
Yeah, I think it, like you said, it is. It's a bit of a dog world there, and again, I'm just going off what you've told me, but I can appreciate that there is that cult mentality. And it's like I sold this today, I sold that today. Look what I sold today. That's my portfolio. I've actually been told so many times by so many different people in different parts of my life because I've always been in marketing, but I've been told real estate is your gig. You're good with people, you speak, you're personable, you can sell it, and I'm just like I don't know. I just could not like, get myself to convince myself I could do real estate. Um,
Imagine this, right?
Go on.
Your entire work as an agent is not about what you do for other people, more what you do for the agency you work in. So your value and your performance is wrapped around something called GCI, which is gross commission income, right?
Mm, mm.
That's not what you take home. That's
No.
what you earn from the
Yeah.
agency that you work in, but your whole value is glued to your GCI as your identifying performance factor. And I find it so peacock, just like, pissing contests, and it just didn't sit well with me because for me, I want my value to be attached to what I give to other people, not
Yeah.
what I you know what I mean?
Yes.
Not to a grand scale of earnings that I never took home that the taxman stole from me, but for,
Those thieves, honestly. Yeah,
oh,
absolutely.
so like this couple that are divorcing that need to restart their lives, like being able to send them away financially to be able to do so, or a family that lost their mum, selling their treasured family home, being able to give them a nest egg that they can build their future on. And the points of value that no one saw in
Mm.
me, my real estate career. And now we're looking at fitness and mindset coaching. And I'm able to help so many women. I helped myself, and I have that blueprint that I'm now able to give to women like me that are disenfranchised, that feel forgotten and unseen, that feel confused and overwhelmed. I'm able to, like, hold their hand and guide them through it. Like, why would I ever want to sell another house ever again when I can do this? This is so
Yeah. And you mentioned blueprints, title of the show, of course. Talking about blueprints, what I got a picture of how you got into the industry, but your mum's a clairvoyant, you were doing real estate. How did fitness actually seep into your mind? Like how did it start as an origin story?
let's go back to the beginning. Let's be real and
Let's
let
have an origin story.
okay. I hated PE as a kid. It Ted. Did not want to participate. I used to get my mum to write notes to get me out of it when I was
Really?
oh yeah, hated it. I was not an active kid. I dabbled, I tried a little bit of
What
this,
kind of
tried
notes?
that.
Twisted ankle, stuff like that, or just
And no, I just was never I have 2 left feet, can't dance. I'm very clumsy, I'm very awkward. So I never really fit in the sporty space at all growing up. And I had gym memberships. Oh my gosh, you'll laugh. I had a Fitness First membership for 2 years. I set foot in that gym 3 times and I was too embarrassed to cancel my membership.
yeah. I'm currently in that situation right now. I think I've gone once in the last year and a half. And I think I went in once just to delay payments by 3 months. She's like, "You haven't been here for a year." I was like, I'll come soon, don't worry."
So I mean, it happens, right? We attach ourselves to this. I'm gonna do it.
Mm.
Yeah, Monday. Oh, just after this pizza,
Yes.
we do that. And when I coach people through that exact scenario, I've been there. Like I've really been there. Um, I think that's my niche. I think that's what sets me a little bit apart from other coaches. Not to say they haven't done the work, they're not fit, they're not healthy, all of that, those things, but
But every coach has their niche. This is
yeah,
yours. Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
genuinely I'm the chick that was so fed up with what was lacking in the market, I went out and created it for people. Like, I can't believe how far I've come from not wanting to walk too far from my car to Coles to get milk and bread to running 5Ks a day. So, if
That's an
I can
interesting,
do
yeah,
that, anyone
yeah.
can do anything, seriously.
How was your health at the time though?
I
Because you'd
look,
still be on the go and everything.
I've had a lot. I've had a lot of health problems. I have PCOS.
Oh, okay.
I used that as a blanket for many years for my weight gain and my inability to exercise, but we won't get into that.
No, but it is
Um,
commonly mentioned in this podcast, so I'm quite alive to it, yeah.
I think the part for me that with the PCOS that was hard to overcome, it was like I have endometriosis as well, so I've
Wow.
struggled with a lot of pain. Um, Pain management for females is so hard because we get called whingers, we get called all kinds of things, when we're in pain.
Well, you're
So
also going through the menstrual pain and everything, like, you're going through a ton of pain, man, like, no
uh,
way.
horrendous, like so,
Yeah,
yeah. Then you add to that later down the track, I ended up in a very serious condition. I ended up having spinal surgery in 2018.
wow.
I was in a wheelchair for, just the better part of 12 months, and I ended up
Yeah,
in rehabilitation hospital, learning how to use my legs again and walk again, and that
far out.
experience stays with me forever. You think
Guys, if
that
you
would
went if you went onto Instagram, there's no way you could put that together. There's just you couldn't no. There's no
well,
way.
I've never found the platform to share my story. I think this might be the right place.
Are we ready?
Look, I am for sure.
Let's do it.
You want it, and I'll give
I
it to
want
you.
it. Give it
Okay.
to me.
Um, I had already had spinal injury in the past. I'd had surgery, so I kind of use that as a blanket, if I'm being real, to not exercise, to be careful with myself, to not hurt myself. Not really educating myself on how I could get healthier and get more fit. And I was in such a miserable place in my life towards that first surgery was the end of my first marriage. I
Yeah.
walked right into my second marriage, which was could have easily been the place that killed me. That marriage almost ended my life. My husband
Wow.
at the time um, was incredibly abusive, and what I went through for the time that I was with him is trauma that I will carry with me for the rest of my life. And
Yeah.
it put me in such a state of self hatred and shame. Crawling
Yeah.
out of it was almost, it felt impossible. The weight, like even talking about it now, I want to cry. The
Yeah, I
weight
can
of
see that.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, the weight of that was heavier than I became. And
Seems
by the
like there
time,
was a lot of gaslighting from what you're telling me. Like it was just these Was it physical? Was it more mental abuse?
So the incident that landed me in my second spinal surgery was directly related to the physical abuse I
Yeah.
suffered.
Okay.
So
I'm very sorry to hear that.
yeah, it's hard. I think there's still that element of shame attached to talking about all of that and what happened there, and that was a real low point in my life. I was incredibly vulnerable, and exiting that marriage being so physically vulnerable really wore on me. So the years that followed, a lot of weight gain happened because I really I didn't give a shit about myself. I didn't know how. I was never worth anything to anyone else. Why would I be worth anything to myself, you know? And it just got worse from there, believe it or not. Um, yeah, my taste in men did not necessarily improve. Um, I had another relationship breakdown several years later after the birth of my fourth child, and I was at my heaviest at that point and very, very unwell, and I did not want to be here. I most certainly did not want to be here. I That feeling is something I will never be quick to forget because it's so unfortunate. I would have missed all of this if I checked out. And oh my God, I'm so grateful I stuck around. I really am.
Look at your kids and how proud they are of you and what you've achieved just the last week or so. And I'm talking, that's this much. Like that's that much. This will go on video, so they'll know what I'm saying. But like it's that much that I'm talking about. But there's a whole depth of achievements that you have, and I'm not talking about the stage. I'm just talking about bouncing back. You know, and yeah, what have you got to share for your kids if you didn't? I'm grateful you're here. I did not know that. Thank you for being so raw.
But I wanna talk about it because I hope that that helps other women in that position. I wanna
Well,
help
can I ask? Can I ask then if we're going to help other women? And I think that's a wonderful thing. Is now that you look back on it now with a bit of hindsight, what were the warning signs that you would have ignored?
every red flag to me felt like something I could overcome. If I was better for him, if I was prettier, if I was quieter, if I was more attentive, then everything would be okay, and I compromised my safety, and I really made myself so small to fit a life that genuinely could have killed me. I will never do that again. I think the beauty of my journey and coming out the other side of everything that's happened, is that I found me. I found my energy, my light. I found a way to love myself more than anyone ever could. And it's in doing that and being accountable for how I digested my situation and how I sat there powerless for so long, um, and knowing that I am powerful and I can overcome these things. That's what's gotten me to where I am right now, and
Yeah,
it is bigger than the stage. That to me was like the acknowledgement of a huge chapter of my life. It's more than just this prep. It's the prep that was beyond the prep. Like this is years and years of broken cat to strong cat. Like I never
yeah.
would use the word strong as a descriptive for me. And ever, like emotionally, physically, just wasn't a word that matched me well. But now, yeah, hold on tight. This is the beginning.
Yeah, this is the beginning. The strong cat that you mentioned that you wouldn't have thought of when you look back on it, was it just during that period? Because I'm pretty sure like Kat was strong when she was young, and her mum was boss for God's sakes. Like, you had a different outlook on life. You had different expectations, and then it just takes one or two or three done relationships to sort of blur those lines and go, oh, okay, this is not what I was hoping to be. But surely there was a cat that you've refound, you've rediscovered. Is that the right word for it? Rediscovered, or have you
That
built something new altogether?
built something that was always in there that I never had the courage to kind of show as the genuine me. I think I've always been what everyone else needed me to be in whatever scenario they needed me to be that. I my mum, strong as she is, I took care of her. She took care of me. We took care of each other. And in taking care of anyone else, you always sort of forget to take care of yourself. Like I said, I've been a mum since I was 18. So my own identity and being okay with putting myself first, being okay with voicing my needs, all of these things are things I wish I had learned earlier in life, not in my late 30s.
It's never
um,
too late, Kat. It's never too late. I myself am the firstborn son of a 17-year-old mum.
oh,
Um,
we love that so much.
so
Thank God.
she's obviously rediscovering things about herself too, but she had to obviously sacrifice a lot. But I couldn't, no, I couldn't imagine it was in terms of what you went through. It was a different path altogether. But it's never too. All I'm saying is from that is anecdote. It's just never too late. It isn't, and you've proven that. You've definitely proven that. Which again, I have to go back to just that center stage moment a few weeks ago, or last week. What did that mean to you as a mum first?
The one out of all 4 shows, and each of them had their own moment for me, the one that got me was my FMG show. There, and I'll give you a photo so you've got the moment that I get
Please
my
do.
final.
Yes.
There's a moment where they narrate your transformation story. I was in the transformation category.
Right.
They're narrating my story, and I'm hearing them talk about everything I've overcome. I'm hearing them talk about me and my mobility. I'm hearing them talk about my weight loss. And my mum is sitting in the audience and I can't see anything. I've got these bright lights in my face. And it's just like just one moment where I happen to look in the right direction and the light moves in the like moves away. And I caught my mum in the audience and I can hear them. And, um, and then I got a standing ovation and it was just like, it just hit me. I was like, "Oh my god, I did this.
Yeah.
I survived. I lived through so much horrific shit, and I am here. I'm actually doing this right now. I did everything I said I was gonna do. The things
Yeah.
I thought were impossible, I did that."
Yeah. And you got to eat your cookie too. Let's not forget.
Oh my god, I got a cookie. It was so
I love
good.
those photos. They're so raw and they're good. I love them.
Oh man, it was so good to be away from refined sugar for 24 weeks and to just have that moment. It wasn't about the cookie. It was like yeah, it's hard to explain unless you've been through it, but
No, I haven't been through it, but I have. Look, I've gone through it a week without a cookie, so that's bad enough. But
oh, yeah,
yeah.
thanks. Yeah, for sure.
um, look, can I before we go on, I just want to make a point that when I was putting Kat's episode together, and I will make sure this gets kept in the final release is the depth of what you went through. I had no idea about it. I did know we were going to have a conversation around motherhood because that seems to be my favorite topic at the moment. But you have come through and you've been so raw and you've told us what I think is the first time you've opened up about something, which please, I welcome you to do more because we're here now. So
Yeah,
I'm really appreciative of it. And at no point do I encourage you to stop. Please just continue whatever you want to say because I'm here to give a platform for other listeners that they can take away something. This, to me, I call this an education podcast with a light touch to it, of course. So please just be you. I'm really enjoying this.
I love it.
Um, you're raising 4 beautiful kids. You're balancing your business, fitness, wonderful content creation. Some of the best I've seen, actually. Um, uh, I love it. It's raw. No, but that's it. Like I can just feel a person in that, and an actual person, and I'm blessed to have so many guests that are just real. And I guess the question is, the woman you are today, how has motherhood shaped you in balancing all this?
It's interesting because I talk about my my adult identity as a full picture from 18 to now having had my first child and 2.5 years ago just having my last. So my whole adult life I've been a parent. I did not really
Career
not
parent, right? Like a career
Yeah.
politician, yeah, career parent, yeah,
My,
yeah.
my eldest son, now almost 21 years old,
21,
is
yeah.
the greatest achievement of my life. The 4 of them are. so individual and so different, and they've had such different little journeys. And I'm just so blessed to be able to witness that and to shape that and to be a part of that with them. And I think everything that I'm doing now, I call it my love letter to them because,
Beautiful.
yeah, because it's, everything, the greatest gift of my growth in my life is the lessons they have taught me, not the other way.
Absolutely. Your love letter to them. Well, then let this podcast be a chapter. Absolutely.
100%.
We'll put that in there. Do you think that, I mean, I know you've been a mother, your whole adult life. We jokingly said I'm a career mum, but has it sort of, does it change your relationship with discipline and resilience? Because you've had to do it so early on, like in terms of being able to pass that on to your kids. Does it change your relationship with discipline and resilience?
I definitely feel that I've been through an intense amount of trauma
Yeah.
uh, in my life. I've had a lot happen. I had a very fortunate and loving childhood with my mum, but there's a lot of trauma there, from my dad and what she went through with my dad. And I think
Yeah.
the recognition when I became a parent that it wasn't until much later in the piece, like after my third child and the breakdown of my second marriage, that I realized there were some cycles repeating here, and I needed
Mm,
to work on how to not have that affect them in their future and the relationships that they build with themselves and with other people. And so that is what makes this chapter of my life all the more important. I'm not a perfect mum. I'm not a perfect anything.
I beg to differ. I beg to differ, but that's
Look,
just my.
I've made so many mistakes, but I'm really grateful for them, and I'm grateful for the direction that those lessons have put me in now, because it does make me a better mum and a better human all round. So, yeah, it's interesting, like the whole picture of the growth from 18 to now and why it was necessary and the things that shaped it. I think the human experience for me has been a painful one until I realized that I was responsible for my happiness and I needed to find that within myself before it could be real.
Yeah, look, a lot of mums have told me on this on podcast, and just in general, I talk to a lot of prospective guests, that they can lose themselves in that survival mode. You've mentioned a history of trauma. How did you manage the struggle with regards to maintaining your own identity outside of motherhood? Because you said you've been a mum your whole adult life. But surely there are parts where you're like, what else can I be? What else can I do? Like, especially when you're in those relationships and you're looking for an escape.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. I had no self. I was the
Yeah.
daughter, I was the mother, I was the wife, I was the friend. I was everything to everyone else. I didn't have that knowledge of self, that love of self at all. And I stand by it. It's something that I've only recently tapped into, and I'm sad in a way because I would have had a much more whole-rounded 20s experience if I'd found this side of me a lot sooner.
Are there
Um,
third parties involved in finding it? Were there people that have come to you into your world that have helped you as well? Or was it all just sort of riding
but
solo? Who's played a role in your life at the moment?
my kids, that's it.
Yeah.
I
They're
you
the
know,
greatest teachers, right?
it's the pursuit of wanting to give them the everything through the learned experiences that I've had that has made me strong and resilient and all of the things that I am right now.
What do you
So
hope they can learn from your journey most, if anything else?
that no matter what knocked me down, I got back up and they can do the exact same thing. And there is literally nothing you cannot do and nothing you cannot be if you want it bad enough. You can do it. You
Yeah.
can literally do anything. I say that all the time, but you can.
But
I
you
tell
can.
parents this all the time. There are no limits. You are the only limit.
Absolutely. I mean, you're your worst enemy and your best friend, just and you've got to be your best advocate too. You got to toot your own horn and say, I can do this and it's gonna get done. There is the case of how, but if you don't believe it's gonna happen, how are you gonna start altogether?
And the how and the where and the all of
And
those
the
things.
why, because you
Why?
need a purpose as to why you do it. I think the why is the most important. There needs to be a reason you get out of bed every morning.
Everyone talks about your why as though it's one thing, but why is such a combination of things, right? And this is part of mindset work that I do with my clients. It's part of how I helped myself get from where I was to where I am now. It's about constantly circling back to the goal and making it living, breathing, movable, and shapeable around where your life is
Correct.
at that moment.
Yeah.
Because once you get to that, oh, I've done that now. What next? That's where things drop off, and that's where sustainability disappears. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, if I'm honest, my weight loss, my 55 kilos that's gone disappeared into the universe, that didn't start in the gym. It started up here.
Yeah. 55 kilos, guys. Have a good look at her profile. There is no way I could believe that without this. Yes, look at that. Flex. I love a good flex. You're a human being. We're all human. Tell me about the days, if any, and I wonder, I'd assume there are, where you just, the motivation disappeared completely and you had to find that spark again. What's that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, motivation is a funny one for me to touch on because it's something I think we're all very accustomed to using as a reason for doing things.
Yeah.
But for me, it became kind of a cop out because if I waited for motivation to happen, as I often did, as most of us do, particularly on a fitness journey, because it's hard, it's not easy. If I waited for motivation to happen, it just would never happen. So it was
Yeah.
dedication that took over for me.
Yeah.
That was the key. No matter what, no matter how hard, no matter how long, no matter how slow, it was dedication to being consistent and making sure that I kept circling back to my why, realigning my goal with my now. All of those things became motivating factors for me to succeed. But it was not the motivation itself that got me there.
Yeah. It was basically the consistency and the dedication. And that was and it was complemented by motivation, or was it the other way around? But yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that's wonderful. I think and I think um like 50, was it 55 you said? Right? So there's a fair level of discipline there. How do you balance it so that discipline doesn't become, because you've said it yourself, it's like, oh, I've lost a certain amount of kilo and that's it. No, it's about having that mindset to go, well, how do I maintain that? What else do I do with that? So, how do you personally separate discipline from obsession? Because I know people can fall into that trap too.
That's a good question, right? And how do we, once we hit a goal, not stop at a wall and just quit, right? And for me, the answer to that is growth. Growth has to be the goal because it's endless. Growth doesn't stop. If it's something you constantly seek, then at each chapter, it continues. And I think for me, that was the key. It was like, right, well, I've done this. What do I do with it now? Right, well, I've done this. So how do I build on it now? And it was just realigning the goal with the version of me that I was at that moment, realigning the goal with the version of me that I wanted to challenge myself to be, and being dedicated to unlearning the bullshit and relearning everything I needed to learn to get to the next level of growth. It was never about one specific goal.
Can there be? Do you think there could ever be a danger in constantly chasing the next version of yourself? Just your
Look,
thoughts on that.
yeah, I mean, it depends. I guess it depends. For me, no, because mine is always about positive improvement and how what I'm doing benefits my life, my growth, my larger goals, my family, all of those things. So, um, yeah, I mean, there's never a danger in growing. I think there's a danger in not growing. I think sitting stagnant and being poor me and, really staying wallowing in a particular scenario. We've all done it. I've done it. I did it
Yeah,
for
we've done it. I've done it. Yeah, like out of my
um,
heart attack and all that, I've felt sorry for myself too. I get it. Like, we
the
do. Yeah.
greatest gift you can give yourself is the gift of a little bit of accountability. I'm going to say the uncomfortable thing, but we are not the sum of the bad things that happen to us. I
No.
think the
But
moment
we are
I
the sum of the decisions we make.
yes, we are. I think the moment I realized that I had the key to the things I needed to change was the moment that change started becoming
Yeah.
the thing I was most dedicated to. So, yeah.
Now, I'm going to jump a bit because I want to circle back to how I met you. Good old social media.
Yes! Love you so
um,
friend.
your work looks great. It's fantastic. It's impeccable. I know that we've talked about how it's surface level. Obviously, when you look at the iceberg and then everything underneath, there's a lot of work that goes into it. So we know that when we look at your photos, we appreciate years and everything that you went through now that we opened it up. But just sort of from just your take on it, just your take on it. So social media can sometimes reward extremes. Have you ever felt pressure to look, to train, to live a certain way? And I'm going to use this word very loosely here, so please don't get crucified me for it. But have you ever felt pressure to look, train, or live a certain way for validation?
Yeah, look, you want me to be raw and honest?
Please.
When it comes to social media, I'm gonna tell you the thing that I can't stand about this space that is definitely identity shifting or can be something, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but
Say it.
I love social media for the gift it gives you to be able to connect with people. I think that level of connection is fantastic, but we end
It
up
is.
living in this digital space where there is a preferred creator, there is a preferred sort of vision for the ones that do very, very well on here. And me at nearly 40, I struggle. Like I know it all looks great and it all looks wonderful, but I'm not getting the traction that I feel that I should get. And
I know. I look at yours and I'm like, how does it not have like three times what you have on there right now?
do I
Like
think it's
it's,
largely related to
yeah,
my age? Could be. I mean, I don't know. I'm not the ideal little cookie cutter story. So I'm hoping the more raw and honest
no.
I am about me
You're
and
the comeback story I love for my show, if that means
oh,
anything.
I love
So,
that, and I feel like, the more I share and the more I open up, the more people get to see, the more that they will, be interested in checking me out on the socials, but the connection side of things I really love, but yes, I feel like we get this image of people on here that we have to look like them, eat like them, perform like them, um, is tough. It
yeah.
is, you know?
And I don't take you for someone who would tie their self worth closely to appearance or performance. I think there's just so much depth to your character that sometimes just the platform of social media can't deliver that message. Just can't. It's not going to tell your life story of what you went through in one photo.
No,
So
I hope I deliver that I'm human. I am a mum. I
yes,
have
yeah,
stretch marks. I like to sleep in on a Sunday. Sometimes my training is crap. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes I eat well. Sometimes I don't. I ate really well for the last 24 weeks because I was in prep, mind you. But I'm human. I'm human. I'm not just the product that I'm selling, though I am that. Um, I'm I'm one of you. I went
yeah.
through normal things to get here. I'm just sharing my story because I feel like I can help a lot of people with what I've been through, and I hope that to be the case.
I
Uh,
hope so too. I believe that to be the case. Actually, do you think people would misunderstand growth? Because we've talked about growth a fair bit, but do you think people would misunderstand growth and assume it's always to look productive and glamorous, and that could be one of the problems with the online space?
yeah, there's definitely an element of that. I mean, it's hard to be. I'm very proud of myself. I love myself sick, and you're all going to be sick of me because I
Impossible. This is just one episode of many with you, by the way.
good. I am happy to share everything, to take the curtain away and let you know anything you want to know about me. I'm an open book, and I feel like that is needed on here to not just be this image that everyone needs you to be,
Yeah,
because I want to make people uncomfortable. I want to be confronting and real and raw and honest so that people can do the same thing for themselves because that is the birthplace of something really special, I believe.
absolutely,
Social
absolutely.
media
And
is definitely shit for the we have to be a certain way. But magazines were equally the same. Remember Dolly magazine when I was growing up? That felt very much
Oh,
like instilling us income.
that was an honest product. Uh,
Yes, 100%. But this has always been there, particularly for women. This comparison game that we play,
yeah.
that's
And we
always
always say it's the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy. And one thing I constantly hear from people in the fitness space, in the international fitness bodybuilding space, is when they're in the backstage and they're all getting ready, like we saw obviously photos of you getting ready, you all come to the realization that the competition is just between you and yourself.
100%.
And I think that's one of the rare sports you can say that. It's like we'll call it a sport, but yeah, it is. It's just one
It
of the
is.
spots. Yeah, it is. It is absolutely,
Sure
and
is.
I'd buy that a lot.
It's the only I have never man, if you told me I was gonna be a bodybuilder as a kid, I would have been like, "Oh, I don't do that. I don't play sports. I'm not a sport." You know what? It's community. More than anything else, I have met some incredible men and women in this sport and made some treasured connections and relationships with people that have shaped and changed my life, my future, given me new goals, new aspirations. I think anything that you enter into with your heart should always be like this. And that's not to say I recommend bodybuilding for everyone. Prep is tough, and it
Yeah.
has its good and bad points. But for me, it has been incredibly shaping and life changing. It's been the best adventure of my life, second only to
And I guess that sort of answers the question that I was pondering in my head is something in the fitness industry people rarely speak about honestly. I think that sums it up quite well. Confidence gets thrown around constantly online as well when we talk to, people how they present themselves. What does real confidence actually mean to you?
such a good question.
One of my
I
trademarks. I ask good
I
questions.
love that. I really do. You really put me on the spot here. I look, for me, I think the greatest lesson I have learned in the last few years is that confidence is something that comes from within that shouldn't be contingent upon someone else's validation. Self love is unconditional. We come here with ourselves, we leave here with ourselves. If we don't have pride and love ourselves, what was the human experience for at the end of the day? I think for me, that seeking unconditional love externally has very much changed. And it may look boastful and it may look aesthetic and it may look, you know, like, I don't know, a bit prideful or a bit egotistical online. But it's, you know what? Like I said, I love myself sick. I'm going to keep telling you all that until you hear it and know that it's
Until
actually
your fans love yourself sick as well.
oh,
So
100%. 100%. Like, I think we need to love ourselves
yeah,
loud.
absolutely.
We do.
You do. You do. It's not vanity, it's not pride. It's reassurance, that you are who you are, and this is me. This is how God made me. This is the tools I have, and I'm gonna just give it a red hot go. Actually, I think something I don't know if it's something you posted or something like that, but it resonated with me. I've wrote it down somewhere. Sorry. We never really fail if we're coming from a place of learning and growing. I would say that's a great perspective on how you built yourself through hardship.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. There is
Mm,
no failure if you look at it from a lesson that was valuable to learn. I think for a long time, being a survivor of such horrific trauma and going through all of the things that I went through, it was really easy to sink into that being a reason for me not to push past discomfort and not
yeah.
to seek the next level. And I'm sad for myself that that was my mindset then. But if I look at the learning, and not to say that it wasn't awful and life changing and soul altering, because it was, and I have scars I will carry with me forever, but they are not the sum of who I am. There's so much
Mm,
to me. And being able to deep dive into myself and find those things and outlet those things and show those things, particularly publicly like this, um, that it's been the greatest form of self-love and healing ever. Like, it's great. Very proud.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not defined by the experience of what you went through. Like for what I'm trying to, if I can word it correctly, like, I think my mum said this to me, like maybe a few months out of my heart attack. She's like, "You are not your heart attack." Like you're everything else. And I'm sitting there like at home. I can't go to work. Can't even drive at the time. I can't even go get of anything from across the road because I'm just like bound in bed. She's like, you're not your heart attack. You had it, but you're not it. Like it's not you. You're not the sum of that. So I've always appreciated that. Yeah, you could just remind yourself that everything that made you is not defined by an experience. It's just defined by how you responded to that experience. Like you're defined by how you respond to these experiences. And that's character building, as they say. So
And you can change the way you respond to things, but the first step is identifying and being accountable for
yeah,
that haven't served you in the past. Like the common denominator in all of my unhappiness, unfortunately, was me, was how I viewed things, was how I cared for myself, was how I tackled problems, was how I solved problems, you know?
do you ever feel
I
you were misunderstood during this
oh,
time, or even younger? Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
I feel like because I wrapped my identity so much around what everyone else needed me to be for such a long time, that's very, very much on me. I wasn't brave like I am now. So that was the journey. But again, if you're coming from a place of growth, they were the most valuable lessons for me. The
Mm.
moments where I can look back on all of those now and I have a open letter to myself. I am constantly adding to, which I'm eventually going to release on social media, and it's interesting.
Send us the link. We'll definitely get it out there for you.
It's interesting talking to childhood me, talking to the 18-year-old mum, talking to the 22-year-old married mum of two that I was, and looking back on her and those versions of me and knowing how they shaped the version that sits here with you right now. Um, yeah, very, very interesting, the whole journey. And I'm really looking forward to continuing to unpack myself in that way. Yeah, it's been life changing.
Beautiful. I'd love to read it. In saying all that, what's something that you feel we're talking about commonalities here. You mentioned, the commonality was, in some cases you and all that, but flip the script a bit. What's something people would, assume about you that they get completely wrong?
Oh, that I'm a confident person 100% of the time. I know
Yeah.
I might look that way, but I see myself as still kind of quite awkward. I often
Mind you,
joke.
yeah, I only have to scroll like 3 layers down your Instagram and I'd think otherwise, so you're dead set,
That's
like, people
you,
can make that
right?
assumption, yeah.
You think I'd be large and loud and proud in every room, but there's always that little element of, there's always that little element of I don't fit here. I guess, but it's being at peace with that being okay that makes me outwardly project confidence to you, that I sometimes doubt in myself, but I know it's there.
What do you think that you're and I'm just making I could you could just say nothing, the answer could be nothing, but do you think you're fighting any silent battles right now?
I think there will always be an element of a battle that we all fight. I think, right now, I'm doing okay. I think right now I'm in the best position I've been in a long time. Um, and no, yeah, I don't no necessarily silent battles that there are 10. Can I be really honest with you? Everyone has an issue. Like I've got issues with my house right now. I have issues with relationships, with family, with friends. Like, that's all normal.
And you're
But
planning your 40th apparently, so, like, that's a big
yeah,
deal.
I'm going
That
overseas for that. That's gonna be
what are you
fun.
doing? Where are you going?
I'm going to New York. That's the good.
Nice.
Yeah,
I can vouch for that, it's a beautiful place, so
I'm going to New York. I'm taking my followers with me and I'm gonna make a huge thing out of it. It's gonna be a big deal.
what month is your birthday?
It's in March next
So
year.
it's okay, so it's next year you'll be yeah, cool, cool, cool. Cool, bring it
So
on.
we've got time. I'm going to make it a whole series in New
Yeah.
York.
Well, if you want, you're more than welcome to do a live cross there. We can do a little podcast while you're there.
100%.
How about that?
We'll
That'd
talk
be
again.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if someone's listening and those who will listen to this and they've reflected with you, they might have some battles of their own, mentally, emotionally, physically. They feel stuck right now. You've gone through a lot. What do you think they should hear first?
Yeah. It's a good question. You, you will be okay. If you want to change things, you absolutely can. And I hear you. It's loud out there and the advice is conflicting and you don't know which direction to go in. And there's so much noise and so much, but it will be okay. Everything that you want for yourself is achievable. You just have to roadmap it correctly.
Yeah.
I think having the
Yeah.
right anchor points, having the right guidance is so important. I think that's what was missing for me in the early stages of my weight loss journey that just was not there. There were 10 different things I could lean on for help, but having one pathway for me, that's what was missing. It was really important.
You've been listening to the Comeback Blueprint podcast with Michael Sawan. Real stories, real struggles, real comebacks. Follow these comeback stories on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and anywhere else you can find us on social media. And don't miss what's coming next.